What is up, guys? Due to the recent spike in player growth, I'm here to show you guys how to catch up in Roblox Anime Last Stand as quickly as possible. But before we get into the video, just remember, please like and subscribe. It will mean the absolute world to me. Let's try and get to 150 subscribers. It would make my day. Alright, let's start off with the early game. Alright, first off, the early game. Number 1, let's look at our farm units. I'd recommend Idol, which you can get very easily by just going through and completing this guide. You'll unlock Idol, and you'll unlock, I think you unlock Idol's Evolution, if I'm not wrong. Or, no, you might have to go do that yourself. But I'd recommend Idol and Bulma. Now, Bulma, you can get over here. You can get Bulma from Banner 3, this banner, or from the selection. Now, for Bulma and Idol, I would recommend the Entrepreneur ability, making sure you get that on them as quickly as possible. Like, as you may see, I have Glitch, but early game, by far, it's best for your, farm unit to go for Entrepreneur. Next up, let's look at Giorno. Giorno will be the very most important unit in the early game. And the reason why is because of his, look at his very high strength and his tremendous ability, Requiem, where each time he attacks, he gains 5% damage and 2% range. That ability is amazing and absolutely crucial to the early game. Now, you can unlock Giorno from the Ultimate Banner, number 3, or from the Selection Banner, and look, here he is right there. And to evolve him, you'll want to go to, let's go here, to Story and Infinity, Ruined Mario, wherever, here we go, Ruined Mario, and you'll need to make sure to get Time Essence, and I think that's about it. I think you just need the Time Essence from that, and then you'll use that to, of course, craft more abilities. Next up, let's move on to Red Pirate Conqueror. Red Pirate Conqueror is a great unit to have in the early game, as he is he's definitely one of the top 3 stun units in the game. Now, you can get Red Pirate Conqueror, not Siege Mode, sorry, over here in the Marines Fort Raid, number 6. Here he is, and you evolve him by, of course, going through doing this, and then unlocking his, unlocking the Straw Hats to evolve him. Now, yeah, like I said, very crucial. He is probably the best, one of the best stun units in the game. You will be able to rely on him for a long while. Now, let's move on to Strongest Sorcerer Unsealed. As you can see, I have him extreme boosted. Early game, you will probably not be able to extreme boost him. Now, the reason I like him here is basically the same reason as Red Pirate, is a great just stun unit. Not stun really, but his ability to stop time. And, I mean, he's definitely not weak. Of course, his extreme boosted unit is way better, but he's a great unit overall, and this is the team I'd recommend. Now, let's move on, not to the units, but to Enchants and how to get Mythic Shards. Alright, for this stage of the game, I recommend Entrepreneur for your farm units, and Overlord for your actual, like, strong attacking units. Now, of course, Avatar's great, but I'd recommend more than anything, and not just for early game, but for every single one, any part of the game, wait until they do 6x technique event before you try getting these techniques, unless you really need it now, and then you can. So I would honestly just recommend just fighting for Overlord, but you obviously can too. And then for Enchants, because it's going to be hard to get Pearls, so I don't think Enchants will really matter too much in the early stages of the game. Alright, now let's talk about the best way to get Mythic Shards. Now, Mythic Shards are kind of tricky to come by in the early game because they take a lot of grinding normally. So what I would recommend is the Godly Rush. Any of the other rushes will probably be too hard, but you should be able to do the Godly Rush, and with each completion, you should be able to get roughly 5 Mythic Spirit Shards. Only problem is you have to wait 2 days before it restocks. Now, the other way I'd recommend is, and this is going to be by far the best way to do it in the early game, is maxing out your level up rewards. Because, I mean, look, one level from here for me is all the way up to 20. So, by far the best way in the early is to just grind your level rewards. I probably need to grind those out more. But, I mean, that's basically the quickest way to catch up in the early game. Now, let's move on to mid-game. Alright, now let's look on the mid-game. So, first off, I'm going to assume you already have Idol Popstar, Bulma, and Red Pirate Conqueror. If you do not, go back, look at my early game section I just mentioned, and I will tell you how to obtain all 3 of those units. Now, let's move on to the most important unit in mid-game. The most important unit in mid-game is Ichigo Horns of Rescue. Now, first off, to obtain his base form Ichigo, you will find that in any of the banners. It is a rare unit. And now, here's most important. Here is what many people don't understand when trying to obtain him. Unlocking this Uemora's Blade. Because if you check the story here in World 2, you cannot find the dimension it says it's in. Because it says it is in the Hollow Dimension, which is in a story in here. Which is why you have to go back to this portal over here. You have to return to World 1. Alright, now that you're in World 1, head over to the play over here. Story in Infinity, and number 3, Act 6, with 20 pity at a 7%. The Uemora's Blade is right here. Alright, now Ichigo's other evolution items are much more simple. You can find 2 of them here, one in the raid shop here, the Empty Mask. You can also find the one for his final form, the Enhanced Aloescence here. And the last one, you can find on the crafting station in here. Now, for the rest of his evolution, you're just going to have to follow the Godly Guide up here, the Godly Trials. Unlock that, get your Ichor Vial, Empty Helix, same as always. Alright, now let's move on to the next Godly. So you're also going to need Wukong Omnipotent King. Well, not need per se, but I would recommend. If you're going to skip anyone I'm going to list here, I would probably skip Wukong, but he will be pretty helpful, especially for when moving from mid-game to end-game. But if you're trying to speed the process up as quickly as possible, you can probably skip out on him. Now, to obtain Wukong, you're going to want to head over to Story, right in here, and let me see, it's the Snowy Village. Snowy Village right here. As you may see, my pity for him is above 25. That is because in the new update, they brought it down from 50 to 25, so it will work. That's just why mine looks wrong. But then you evolve him. Just follow the, where are they at? Follow the Godly Trials. Same as Ichigo, and you'll get him pretty nice and easy. Now, let's move on to Baldy Deadly Serious. As you may see, I don't have any technique on him, and that is because I recently unlocked him, which I regret. This is a card I would, a unit I would very much recommend in the mid-game, as he has probably the second best nuke in the game, besides Death Sun, the new unit. But he has such a great nuke, and nuke units are just so important, especially in this mid-game. They're important in endgame, early game, not so much, but they are very, very important in this mid-game for moving up from the bottom, from the middle to the very top. And to obtain Baldy Deadly Serious, let me look at my notes right here, you can get him from Banner 2. So you unlock him from Banner 2, and you get, where is it at, where are raids? You get his evolution items, not from the raid shop, but from the Villain Invasion Survival shop. You will need Baldy Hero Suit, and you will need Cosmic Dust, not for his evolution, but for his extreme boost, and I very much recommend his extreme boost. However, if you don't want to get Baldy Deadly Serious, you can also get Strongest Sorcerer Unsealed, and you can, because if you listen to my early game, you already have him unlocked. He's good. His nuke is not nearly as good as Baldy Deadly Serious is. So good unit, but I would recommend Baldy Deadly Serious way more. Alright, now let's move on to the techniques I would recommend. So here, I recommend you still can go Overlord, it will just be a little bit outdated. I would recommend moving up to Avatar, and of course, for your farm units, stick out Entrepreneur. Glitch will still probably be a little too much of a grind, given that we do not want to keep these units for much longer. We want to move on, so I would recommend settling at Avatar for these guys. Overlord will work too, and then at this point, I would recommend jumping up and going and get the Glorious Enchants. Now, let's talk about the best ways to obtain Mythic Shards in mid-game. Now, it's going to be pretty similar to early game, I would recommend, of course, Boss Rush. The big difference is now you have, you're open to way more of these. If you have, you can probably do, can probably do all of them, except maybe not Ninja Rush. Ninja Rush might be a little too difficult at this point. You might need to wait till endgame for that. Now, another way I'd recommend it to get them is via the Infinity Castle. Just every season going out grinding this for Mythic Shards. I just haven't grinded out this season because, I'll show you real quick. I have plenty of Mythic Shards. I'm good on Mythic Shards, so I haven't really grinded them out this season. Alright. Now, let's move on to endgame. Alright, now for endgame, I'm just using my own team here. You gotta keep Idol Popstar, keep Bulma. Now, first let's talk about Karuto Will of Fire. First off, Karuto, base form. It can be obtained here from Banner 1 and Banner 2. Same as Ichigo. I think it's, what is it? I think Karuto's, I think he's an epic unit, or is he mythic? He actually might be mythic. Let me check. Selection. Karuto might be mythic. I think he is. Let's look through here. Yep, Karuto. So he will be a mythic unit, so you can get him from the selection banner as well. And now, for his evolutions, let's head on over here to the raid shop. Where is it at? Shinobi tokens. Now, to evolve Karuto Sage, you're going to need the Karuto Sage Scroll, which, like I just said, you can obtain from the raid shop. Sorry. When I said rain, I was talking about where we are going next, or in Infinity. Boom. And now, where is Rain Village? Now, for his next evolution, you are going to need Sun Seals, which you can get here at the Rain Village Purgatory Legend Stage 2 mode. Alright. Let's move on to the next unit. Now, this next unit will be a grind. This is by far the #1 grind you need. I don't know if they made it easier, because I got him when it first came out. But we'll be talking about Johnny Infinite Spin. He is by far the best stun unit in the game, as he doesn't just stun, he makes the units walk backwards. So, he is very important to get. Now, for getting Johnny, you unlock his first form by heading over to Story. Boom. And where is it at? Mario, Stage 6. And you unlock that Johnny Tusk 1 through 3. Now, to evolve Johnny Tusk 1, you will need the Bizarre Coastline Tier 5, in which you'll need the Corpse Ears to evolve him, but also for his Godly, you have to unlock Gap, which you unlock in this portal as well. You'll also need the Tier 6 portal, because that is how you unlock All of You. All of You is also an amazing stun unit. All of You is probably the second best stun unit, right after Johnny. So you can use him actually until you get Johnny. And then you'll also need the Corpse Eye from this. And it'll be a bit of a grind, I'll be honest. It is not too much fun. It's just because, I'll show you real quick. For his Godly, I don't know if it'll let me show, because I already got him. He's over here. For his Godly, you have to obtain so many other ones, and that's where more of the grind is. But I promise you, it'll not be a waste of time. It is an absolutely amazing unit to have. Alright, let's talk about the last two units at the same time, just because you obtain them the same way. The Halloween Midnight Hunt mode, in which, go through the mode, you use the new summoning. There's Death Sun. Very important, even though he's just a Celestial, by far the best nuke in the game. His nuke, on average, will be doing damage in the quadrillions. It is great. So I would recommend, of course, Death Sun, and also Lelouch. And to evolve him, you get both the evolution items right in the shop here. Alright, let's move on to the technique shards. Alright, the techniques I'd recommend is Glitched and Avatar. Those are the two. I mean, as you can see, I don't have Glitched on all mine yet. I'm waiting until the shop refreshes and I can get more Glitch Pity Potions. Two more I need to get Glitched on, but Glitched is just so important, especially on your stronger units. So, if you're in the late game, you can settle with Avatar, but Glitch will be more important. Overlord is completely out of date at this point. Now, for the Enchants, I mean, of course, Midas and Mystical are the best. it is just so difficult to get because how hard it is to obtain pearls. I would honestly say just stick with Glorious. Unless you have enough where you're confident that you can go from... I mean, look at all the Gloriouses I have. But unless you're confident you have enough pearls to get Mystical, Glorious will suit you just fine. Alright, now, obtaining Mythic Shards becomes so much easier once you become Endgame. Now, let's start off with, of course, like I said before, Infinity Castle, Boss Rush. Those work great. You can also do Survival. I think Survival's way too slow. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, the two I would recommend the most is I would recommend Midnight Hunt, the new Midnight Hunt. You can easily get 5. I mean, I could get 5 right there. I just have enough. But by far the best way is going to be through the tournament. When you're endgame, I mean, look, if you get top 40, I mean, I'm top 60 right now. I haven't really been grinding this tournament. But, yeah, I mean, if you get top 60 even, top 100, right there you get 20. And that's just for one. If, like, I'm 46 here, top 100 for that one too is an extra 20, that's 40 right there. You do that every season, plus 150 technique shards. I mean, it's by far the best way to get it. There is no other method close. Now, this is the final team I recommend for endgame. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.